Good evening. My name is Carlos Aramillo, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Instituto de Progreso Latino and a former high school teacher. Our two charter high schools, Instituto Health Sciences Career Academy and Instituto Justice and Leadership Academy, are located between Pilsen and Little Village and serve more than 650 students across the southwest side of the city. Our schools have been educating students for 15 years, and Instituto itself has been a pillar in the Chicago Latino community for over 48 years now. I'm here today as you prepare to vote on the FY26 district budget to ask that you ensure fair funding for charter school students. Because right now is not fair, and each of you has the ability to fix it. CPS has chronically underfunded charter schools, forcing us every year to make tough decisions to just continue providing high-quality programming. Nearly 75% of our students are Latino, and about 80% of them qualify for free or reduced price lunch. Consistent underfunding directly impacts them and their futures. You have a meaningful opportunity to correct this inequity and address the long-standing funding gap. One immediate step would be to reduce the 3% management fee CPS charges all charter schools annually, which amounts to an estimated $27 million. For Instituto, those dollars could be redirected into strengthening our own classrooms, expanding academic programming, investing in clubs and athletics, and ensuring our students have the same opportunities as their peers across the district. We are committed to working with you to find a solution so that charter school students are funded at the same level as the other CPS students. It is a matter of fairness, and it is the right thing to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. And our last speaker from the registered speakers list is Ellen Moyani, speaker number 28, who is joining us virtually. Please enter *6 to unmute.
Hello, President Harding, members of the Chicago Public School Board, and Interim Superintendent Dr. King. My name is Ellen Moyani, and I'm a former guest teacher and the Director of Government Community Affairs at Noble Schools. I'd like to begin by expressing my support for the budget proposed by Dr. King. I had the opportunity to attend the budget community gathering, and I believe that the budget encompasses a key theme that emerged from our small group discussion. Every single budget decision must be student-centered. This message was clear and urgent, primarily as the group discussed our most at-risk students that concern deeply resonates with what we're experiencing at Noble. In previous years, CPS provided a separate revenue category specifically for supporting students with special education needs. This year, that has changed. The special education funding has been combined with general education funding into one lump sum. This change creates significant challenges. Why does this matter? Here's an example. If a student identifies a need for an additional learning specialist, if a school identifies a need for an additional learning specialist after the first day of school, the new significantly higher threshold for appealing for additional funds, twice what it was last year. Make it impossible to obtain the necessary resources from CPS as we have in the past. Like every school in the district, no school per district.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
As a public school that is a part of our CPS system, we serve all students that enter our doors. Once they rise, we listen, learn, we adapt. And this may necessitate the hiring of additional special education teachers, paraprofessional, or other support staff. In closing, we support Dr. King's proposed budget and hope to work with her on ensuring that charter begins to be funded fairly. We also urge CPS to reconsider the current special education appeal process. If you have questions like learn more about what it looks like at Noble, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. President Hardin, we also have several elected officials who would like to address the board. We'll begin with State Senator Javier Cervantes of the 1st District.
Good afternoon, board members of this committee. My name is Javier Cervantes, State Senator of the 1st District of Illinois. I encompass the communities of Brighton Park, Bridgeport, McKinley Park, Archer Heights, and Garfield Ridge. But I'm also here, though, more importantly, as a proud son of an immigrant mother that has been a custodial worker here at CPS for the last 22 years. I'm here so that this body truly understands the day in and day out struggles that these workers go through every single day. These workers take pride in their work. They are humble, hardworking individuals, and this may be all they have. They are senior citizens, people of color, women, single parents fighting to make ends meet. These workers are being laid off, benefits cuts. Right now, they're working to keep our schools clean, but yet they are scared, not knowing what their future holds. They're also being told that they need a degree or a GED, or they are asked to apply online when many may not even have access to an email or a computer. Some have language access issues and cannot understand or fill out these applications. They're getting pink slips for no reasons other than not being able to access these applications or degrees that were not necessary once upon a time when they were first hired, maybe even decades ago. This is not fair or equitable for our schools. They're already completely understaffed, with some schools only having one custodial worker per school. Let me give you a quick insight of their daily struggles every single day that some of these custodial workers have to deal with. 18 classrooms, 4 bathrooms, a gymnasium, a main office, garbage takeout, and many other duties. And this is daily, every single day. And a lot of these folks are senior citizens, over 60 years old, 70, 80 years old. My mother's 80 years old, and she's still prideful to go to work every single day. And I'm proud to call her my mother, because she is an amazing woman that keeps me going every single day to fight for my communities. I ask that this body not balance the budget on the backs of these hardworking people that have done nothing more than give their life to the Chicago public schools and keeping our schools safe and clean. I ask that CPS follow through on the demands of their collective bargaining representatives, bring back all the workers for these, and also make them whole in every way possible. I have faith that you all will do the right thing. I understand how hard these decisions are, myself, a core working in the state legislature. But I do want to say that I look forward to working every single one of you to make school funding equitable and fair for all. I am one of many legislators that believe in fully funded schools. And again, I will stand with you in the fight to make sure that our schools are fully funded. But please, I ask, these are hard decisions, but please make the right decisions. Do not let these workers go. Let's take care of them. And then I'm here to work with everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. The next elected official is State Senator Willie Preston of the 16th District.
Thank you all. I'm State Senator Willie Preston, but I'm not here today just as a state senator. I'm a father. Put 6 children through the Chicago public schools, currently have 4 children in Chicago public schools. A local school council member, was a janitor, a union janitor. I started my career mopping floors, moved over to be a union carpenter to build school buildings. I understand so much of what's at stake and what you all have before you. But I want to be very clear. When I look at this proposal to take out a loan, I am alarmed. Not just alarmed, it's absurd. $200 million for a loan with interest that's going to cost nearly the same amount of money. That is a travesty. That is not right. That is irresponsible. And as my previous colleague stated, as someone that believes in fully funding our schools, serving in the Senate Education Committee, fighting to increase education-based EBF, it's going to be more difficult to make the argument in the state Senate to increase these funds if you all make a decision as irresponsible as this loan will clearly be. Let's be honest here. This money is not coming out of thin air. This money is going to cost taxpayers who, by the way, are already struggling to buy groceries, put gas in their cars, and clothes on their kids' backs. When it comes to the expenses of everyday people, you all now have a vital role in making sure that you reduce the cost of people, regular working class people in the city of Chicago. Now, I understand that this is tough. These choices are tough. But there's a difference between tough choices and bad choices. This proposal that you all may consider to take out a loan mortgages off the future of the children that you are claiming to protect. Now, I urge the board to do the right thing. I thank Dr. King for your responsible proposal. Look forward to continuing to work with each and every one of you, regardless of the position you take. But I'm going to end with a quote from the late, great Harold Washington, when he stated, "Business as usual will not be tolerated by any sector of this city." When you take out a loan like this, and when you install someone to serve and make a decision as critical as this is, a few hours before, without anyone that they represent now knowing who they are, and it's no disrespect to you, sir, it's just a fact. That's business as usual, and I'm highly offended as a taxpayer, as a lawmaker who has been an ally to the city that I love and stay in, and as a parent of Chicago public school students, that if you all do this, you will force the children that you claim to serve to be put in the worst position than they're already in. Please take the responsible budget that Dr. King has presented. Help us, your allies in the state Senate and the General Assembly, help the children that we all love. Thank you so much. I'm State Senator Willie Breath.
Thank you for your comments. Our next elected official is State Representative Lillian Jimenez, who's joining us from the 4th District, who's joining us virtually. Please enter *6 to unmute.
Hello, my name is Lillian Jimenez. I'm the state representative for the 4th District that covers West Palm, Cleveland Village, Humboldt Park, parts of Mesa, and Belmont Reagan. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak for a moment. I am the proud product of the Chicago Public Schools K-12 education, and I also am the mother of a CPS student, a 7-year-old who attends this local community school. So now I just wanted to share that I want to make sure that the state really has a role in this conversation. So that's why I'm here today. I thank my colleagues for speaking for me so passionately. I want to make sure that whatever budget that we come up with is not on the backs of working people, it's not on the backs of union members, it's not on the backs of taxpayers. We in Illinois have the ability to tax the rich, and that's what we must do. We cannot continue to tax our working class population out of existence and the ability to even stay in Chicago. We need to make sure that we mount the pressure to create a structure of progressive taxation at the state of Illinois. We cannot close our schools. We cannot go down the path. I am distraught beyond belief that our state passage members, that our janitors, that our speakers, that our sustainable community schools, that even our crossing guards, who are so vital to our ability to function in our communities, are on the chopping table. That is unacceptable. I went to go pick up my son today from school, and I was looking around at all the parents, and I almost started to cry, to be honest, thinking of how many cuts our vulnerable communities are under, is coming under. Given the fact that this national government is coming down hard on all of us, especially our Black and brown students. So I urge the school board to make sure that you have all options on the table, that you don't leave any funding source unavailable to you. Make sure that you're not pushing on the debt of whatever it is onto the next generation. Make sure we have the ability to do what we need to do to fully fund our schools, and in order to do that, we must pass a responsible budget that allows the school board to pay for everything that it needs to pay for to make sure that we fully fund our schools. And yes, I will be a partner to you at the state level to make sure that we are taking the responsibility on our shoulders as the state of Illinois to make sure our schools are equitably funded. And to do that, I must tax the rich. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next elected official is Alderman Andre Vasquez from the 40th Ward.
Good afternoon, President Hardam, esteemed members of the board, interim CEO King, and members of the public. My name is Andre Vasquez. I serve as the alderperson of Chicago's 40th Ward, I am also the co-chair of the Progressive Caucus, chair of the Latino Caucus, and chair of the Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights. I come before you today as both an elected official and, more importantly, as a son of this city and a product of the Chicago public school system. Like all of you, I care deeply about the future of our children and our communities, and it is in that spirit that I rise to speak in support of the balanced budget the interim CEO, King, has presented. Now, let me start with something we all agree on. We know that the state of Illinois has the ability to step up. Governor Pritzker and the General Assembly could fully fund our schools and give the city the tools to raise progressive revenue. That would solve much of the challenge we're facing, and I support that completely. But the reality is this. As of today, those funds have not been delivered. And we cannot build our entire school budget on the hope that something might change in Springfield. Hope is not a strategy. We have a responsibility to face the numbers in front of us, not the ones we wish we had. That is why this moment is so important. This is and will be the first elected school board. We fought for this board because we wanted accountability. And this is a make or break moment for every one of you. The decisions you make today will either build public trust or risk breaking it before the board has fully become elected. The truth is clear. Both the previous CEO, Pedro Martinez, originally appointed by Mayor Lightfoot and later removed by Mayor Johnson, and now the current CEO, Macklin King, who came directly from the mayor's office, have come to the same conclusion. The best course of action is to avoid a high-interest, short-term loan. The budget before you does exactly that. It avoids a loan. It does not include the pension payment that the state law requires the city, not CPS, to make, and it protects classrooms from cuts. That is responsible budgeting. Yet despite this, the mayor and some members of this board want to bail out the city of Chicago at the expense of CPS. That is not only wrong, it is dangerous. Let me be clear about two key issues where there has been confusion or in some cases intentional misinformation. First, let's talk pensions. Under state law, the city of Chicago, not CPS, is responsible for paying pensions. Forcing CPS to cover a $175 million pension payment to the city would be fundamentally unjust, as said by CTU and Brandon Johnson when Mayor Lightfoot tried to do it. It's a little bit of dissonance. CPS is already capped in its ability to raise revenue, and unlike the city, it does not have the flexibility to generate additional funds. On top of that, borrowing to make this payment would mean taking out a high-interest loan. That would almost certainly lead to a credit downgrade, driving up costs even further and creating bigger deficits year after year after year. The path is unsustainable, and it puts our children and our school staff at risk. Second, let's talk TIF surplus. Got a lot of calls about that from some of the members here. CPS receives 52% of whatever TIF surplus the city declares. The city gets only 25%. You guys get double the money we do when we do TIF surplus. This year, CPS budgeted responsibly, assuming the same TIF surplus as last year. And make no mistake, the city will declare a surplus. It has to. Not for you all, but for us. The city is facing a $1 billion deficit of its own, and I'm praying you guys don't want to join the club. Every year I've served on city council, sweeping the TIFs has been part of closing the gap. This year will be no different. So if anyone is told this board that CPS will not receive TIF surplus funds, or that those funds are contingent on CPS paying the pension payment, let me tell you plainly, it is not true, and they're lying to you. I say this as a sitting member of the city council, and I challenge any of my colleagues to stand up here and say otherwise. We will declare a surplus for ourselves, and when we do, CPS will receive more than double the amount that the city will keep for itself. That is the fact. So here's the reality. There is no state mandate for CPS to make the pension payment. There is no need to take out a loan that will further burden CPS with higher costs and larger deficits in the future.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Good looking out. There is no justification for passing these costs onto a school system that cannot afford them. What we need is leadership. What we need is a vote for a budget that is balanced, that protects classrooms, and that does not saddle CPS with unjust costs or dangerous loans. I urge each of you to step into that role. Lead for our children, for our school staff, and for the health and future of this city. The decision you make today will echo for years to come, kind of like the parking meter deal. Let it be a decision that builds trust, that strengthens our schools, and that secures a sustainable path forward. Our kids, our school
Please
workers,
conclude
and our
your
communities
remarks.
are counting on you. The moment demands courage. It demands responsibility. To our state people that are saying they're going to come help us get that money, and stop telling people to take out loans in the meantime. And I demand that you all put our schools first. Thank you all so much. Saying hi to Board Member Pope and Board Member DeBerry. See y'all soon. Take care.
Thank you for your comments. Our next elected official is Alderman Jason Irvin from the 28th Ward.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Stated I'm Alderman Irvin of the 28th Ward on the west side of Chicago. I'm glad my colleague is up for revenue now. Nobody seems to want to vote for revenue when it's time to vote for revenue. I say this in two things. They say that when the elephants fight, the ground gets trampled. Our interests are aligned. As a member of the Chicago City Council, as a resident of the city of Chicago, our interests are aligned. Some of our colleagues have stated that it is not possible, that it is not prudent for Chicago Public Schools to pay what it owes to the city of Chicago based upon longstanding practice that it does. Now, let's be honest here. The totality of what is owed from your employees is close to $500 million. People need to understand that this is not asking for a full payment of what is owed from your employees, but a partial payment that has been in effect since 2020. The city of Chicago has consistently surplus money to support the need for this payment on behalf of your employees, not the city of Chicago employees. Again, I stated that our interests are aligned in this particular regard. I want to read a letter from one of my colleagues who was unable to join with us today. My colleague Alderman Brian Hopkins of the Second Ward. It's kind of rare that the two of us are on the same page, but I think that many of us in council want to see you all be independent, want to see you be successful. But part of independence is paying your bills, and unfortunately, it is necessary that we as a collective work together, not only for the sake of our students, but as I stated earlier, when the elephants fight, the ground gets trampled. And again, it is our hope, it is our desire, and as public servants, the responsibility is incumbent upon all of us to pursue greater fiscal stability for our city in trying and uncertain times. Their responsibility is challenging, but it must not be ignored. It is your obligation to reimburse this payment as it has been since every fiscal year since 2020 as part of a standing arrangement that reflects substantial benefits seen by your own employees. Forcing the city to cover this pension payment would have deep consequences for Chicagoans. As you know, my colleagues and I on the city council face a budget session with significant challenges as well. Reneging on your obligation will cause additional and substantial damage, further forcing further costs to the city that would be felt by hardworking people in every neighborhood, including CPS teachers, families, and students. While it may seem attractive and cost-cutting measure, the money saved by foregoing this reimbursement would further burden us all and outweigh any short-term benefit that you may receive. We call on the members of the Board of Education to fulfill their duties as public servants in pursuit of a more financially stable Chicago. And then that's from Alderman Brian Hopkins. The last thing that I will add to this conversation is that, again, our interests are aligned. As I've heard from three members of the Illinois General Assembly, it is incumbent upon all of us to work together to fight for equitable revenue for Chicago and its students. There are many proposals that have been placed on the table. However, the votes have not been there to support those proposals. Our governor has stated he owes us $1.4 billion. I think, as my colleague just mentioned, we have to go down and get that money, but we only can do that together. Kind of reminds me of what we're seeing coming from our national government, where people are pitting individuals against one another for their own benefit. Again, it's our interests are aligned. And I think that if we walk together and work together, we can solve not only your challenges, but the challenges that the city of Chicago faces today, and that you all as a board will continue to face given your revenue constraints. Again, I'm asking that you all honor the obligation that has been in place since 2020 and continue to support your employees with a partial payment on their future and their retirement benefits. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The next elected official is Alderman Gilbert Villegas from the 36th Ward.
Good afternoon, board members and CEO King. I come before you today not only as an alderman, but as a neighbor and partner in our shared mission, as my colleague mentioned earlier, ensuring a strong, accountable, and inclusive public school system. Today, you face a stark reality of a $734 million budget deficit. CPS leadership, which you hired, proposed a budget that avoids borrowing and seeks to protect classrooms and seeks to protect classrooms, cutting central office roles, relying on anticipated TIF surplus funds, and deferring a $175 million pension. This speaks exactly to why we need collectively to go down to Springfield to decouple CPS from the city of Chicago. And I hope during the veto session that we can work together to make sure that as independent bodies that we have responsible for our own budgets, so that way we're not here on an annual basis having this battle when in fact we have similar interest. These are tough, necessary decisions, but they must be made with responsible stewardship of tax dollars. We cannot let political alignments or external pressures derail balanced and pragmatic budget decisions. Protecting classroom instruction and student services should guide every fiscal choice. Now, I'd like to address the specific urgent matter that encapsulates the importance of fiscal responsibility paired with community involvement. And that's Esmeralda Santiago Elementary, a beloved school in the heart of Humboldt Park. This school serves predominantly black and brown children and stands as a pillar in its community, not merely as a learning institution, but as a familial home. Santiago's families, teachers, and students have repeatedly rallied for its future, and the board, the majority, 16 of you, honored that by voting in February to absorb Santiago into the CPS school system and keep it open. However, the building itself is now in peril. The Archdiocese, which owns the property, has listed it for sale, jeopardizing the stability of the school and the hundreds of families it serves. It's particularly troubling that CPS has earmarked about $4 million to replace the roof on that very building. But CPS doesn't own it. I urge the board, instead of sinking millions into a building we lease, negotiate a purchase price. By acquiring the property, CPS would do 4 things: gain a critical asset in its property portfolio, secure the long-term future of Santiago Elementary, honor its commitment to Humboldt Park's family, and avoid pouring taxpayer money into improvements for a property we don't even own. Closing Santiago would not just dismantle school, it would fracture a community. Its performance, attendance, and deep neighborhood roots stand as a testament to its value. I again appeal to the board's sense of fiscal prudence and equitable leadership. Let us be responsible stewards of taxpayers' funds, yes, but also champions for communities that rely on schools as much more than learning centers. Let's balance the budget wisely, and let's invest strategically by purchasing the Santiago building and safeguarding the future of those who serve. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next elected official is Alderman Byron C.
Good afternoon, members of the board. I want to also welcome the CEO, of course, to this important session, and hope that we are here to listen. Today we remember the 70 years lynching of Emmett Till. And what a powerful lesson from the past about what type of atrocities we should never see in our country. To Mami Tio, we owe the ignition of the civil rights movement. And I want to quote her today, because it is important to look at the past. And I quote, "We're only given a certain amount of time to do what we are sent here to do. You don't have to be around a long time to share the wisdom of a lifetime. You just have to use your time wisely, efficiently. There's no time to waste. The time to do what's right for our children is today." As someone who has actually walked our first week of school, I can tell you, with just a few examples, how our children today are being left behind. Today in our city, as we are threatened with an occupation of a dictator, we have schools in our district that I personally have seen have no staffing so that we can serve meals, when that's the only meal that these children can get all day. You cannot tell me here that we're doing justice to our children. So I remember Mama Tio, because we got to do whatever it takes to protect these children. The black and brown children, the vast majority of our school district. So the regime that is proposing apartheid, occupation, segregation, is getting help by the richest people, not only in the country, but especially from our own city. Billionaires that are deciding the future, the architects, the white architects of black and brown education. They are the ones who are spreading the lies and dividing us. You just heard from the budget chair of the city council. And I hope that you pay attention. He is the chair of the city council. When we tell you the need to work together to figure out these for the sake of our children. I'm not only speaking today as an elected official. I am speaking about as a father of 3 children that go to public schools. I know Michael Sachs, and I'm calling him by name, because he's the billionaire paying money to divide, because they have the luxury to deny a loan if they have to. They have the luxury. I ask how many of you have had to pay with a credit card so that you can get food on your table. Ask how many parents in CPS. Ask how many employees in CPS. That's why I stand in support also from the workers. I'm a member of SEIU 73. It pains me to see how these billionaires, corrupt billionaires like Michael Sachs, coming to tell us what to do. Until a few years ago, he was trying to steal business so that he control our pensions in his hedge fund. That's who they are. I demand that Governor Pritzker comes to the table. It is not enough to come and say there's no money. Let's talk about, some people talk about referendums. Last year, over 60% across the state voted so millionaires pay their fair tax. Their own projections, $4.5 billion. So you tell me that the dictator can disappear people, build concentration camps, disappear our neighbors, and we cannot tax the rich in our state? Please, let's have some common sense. So here, as a father, as an elected official, you have my commitment, as I have told you, Dr. King, to work with you and the board to ensure that we do everything it takes to fund our schools. It is inconceivable. We have no after-school programming in our schools. I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes. Nobody's coming and tell me, and neither the billionaires or the dictator are going to tell me what is needed for my schools. So I tell you today that we do everything we take to make sure that the state funds it. I'm going to give my colleague, Alderman Vasquez, a quick lesson of math, because he needs it. I haven't seen City Council give a $500 million allocation in TIF surplus. I haven't seen it. And I will challenge him and some of my colleagues to give up their projects so that we can get those $500 million. I am here because I'm seeing it in my own schools when I came here to ask for TIF funding for my schools. We still have schools with no playground, without the very basics. And you know what City Council told me? Good luck. So if we are going to rely on promises of the City Council or the state, I think that the board is better equipped to fight for our schools. And I'm here to tell you, do as you need to do. Do as you need to do. So our kids are always first. Emmett Till was a Chicagoan. And we remember what happened 70 years ago. We're not going back to those times. And here in Chicago, when we have occupation, what is going to happen? Who's going to pay when these kids are traumatized by these masked men? And we are tying our hands, our own hands, so that we cannot respond because billionaires tell us that we cannot do it? Please, I urge you to the city to the board, take this on your hands. You have the support of the city council to work together. But we cannot do one option not at the table is failing our children in this moment when we are being occupied by a dictator. Do as you need to do and do it now. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. The next elected official is Alderwoman Nicole Lee from the 11th Ward, who is joining us virtually. Please enter *6 to unmute.
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. Good evening, President Harden, esteemed members of the board, and fellow Chicagoans. My name is Nicole Lee, and I proudly serve as the Alderwoman of the 11th Ward. That includes Chinatown, Armour Square, Bridgeport, McKinley Park, and Canaryville. F7 Public Elementary School, and 1 CPS High School, and 1 charter. We've got new. I'm also a parent. I'm also a graduate of CPS. Both of my kids have gone to CPS schools. I still have one left. And I know firsthand how much our schools mean to our neighborhoods, our families, and to the future of our city. We're all aware that CPS, the city, and CTA face serious financial challenges. These are definitely not easy times, and the decisions before you as board members are not simple. But I want to applaud interim CEO King, the staff of CPS, for the budget that's been presented that reflects a responsible path forward, one that meets our obligations to students and educators while avoiding the real dangerous step of taking out additional debt that frankly is not just going to burden the schools for years to come, but our children and all of us as taxpayers. Looking ahead, I, along with my fellow council members, we're eager to work with you closely as the board, with our partners in Springfield, as the city and CPS work to disentangle our finances and ensure a sustainable long-term funding model for our schools. To be sure, approval of this budget is a responsible first step towards that goal. As a CPS alum, I know how critical these investments are, and as a CPS parent, I feel the urgency of these decisions deeply. And as an elected representative, I believe we owe our communities not just our good intentions, but solid, responsible stewardship of the resources that were entrusted to us. Now, you've got a big decision to make today. My colleagues and I have, I want to say, an equally serious task ahead of us as we look to balance the city's budget with over $1 billion to close. But I want to thank the board and CPS leadership for presenting this budget that balances these tough choices so that we can have a more sustainable future. And with that, I urge its adoption and look forward to working, to continue working with you, our schools, our families, and to ensure that our young people are going to have a solid future. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The next elected official is Alderman Nick Sposato from the 38th Ward, who's joining us virtually. Please enter *6 to unmute.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. First of all, thanks for the evening meeting. That's an awesome idea. Whoever thought of that, I think you thought of it as a team. Great idea. My name is Nick Sposato. I am the alderman of the 38th Ward on the northwest side. Just want to, instead of calling people out negatively, I would like to make 2 positive comments about 2 speakers. Senator Preston and Alderman Andre Vasquez. You both did awesome. I have to say I 100% agree with you. I know you all have a tough task right here. I'm just very concerned about taking out this loan. I urge you once again not to do that. I think you propose a fair but tough budget in this decision. I'm just very concerned about kicking the can down the road with this loan and saddling future generations with this debt. So with that, once again, appreciate all of you. I know it's not easy. You on the board that were elected, welcome to the world of electeds. And hopefully, when you're in that closed session, you do the right thing and adopt the proposed budget by CEO King and the CPS leadership. But thank you all very much for all you do. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And the last elected official that is addressing the board is Alderwoman Angela Clay from the 46th Ward. Alderwoman Clay is joining us virtually. Please enter *6 to unmute.
Thank you so much. Good evening, members of the board and faculty. My name is Alderwoman Angela Clay. I am really honored to join you all today. It has been a week since I have entered officially in a different capacity of Chicago Public Schools as a parent. My baby started her kindergarten experience last Monday, and so the last week has been emotional, it has been telling, and it has been something that I am extremely proud to be a part of. Budget season is always tough. Take it from me, we are about to enter into our own budget season, and trying to make everything work for so many different Chicagoans is never easy. But as it coincides with the first week of school for my kindergartner, um, this one hits different because it has taught me that leaving your truest, purest love with people that you don't quite know in a building that's so brand new um, was a reality for so many parents. As parents, we have to trust the teachers that teach our babies day in and out. Um, and as school board members, you have to trust that your city council also wants to be a good partner. I sit on the local school council and I meet every month with our school leadership, parents, reps, and I can tell you that unanimously, all of us want the same thing. We want equitable, beautiful schools for our children to thrive and become their best selves. As the city council prepares to ramp up our discussions about the city budget, your partners at city council want to do our best to provide CPS with the assistance it needs in the short term. Your budget shortfall that's in front of you is going to be tough, but as we approach the uncoupling of the city and CPS, and this board assumes control, it's time for you to assume your responsibility to pay at least a portion of your employees' pension payments. This is something that a lot of our elders are relying heavily on. This is their only opportunity to reap some of the benefits of being an amazing employee all throughout our schools. The CPS board negotiates their contracts and controls the amount that it needs into the fund. So CPS should also pay their fair share. My understanding of the law is that it's the only contingency to prevent mid-year cuts. And again, as a new CPS parent, I don't want my baby to go on Christmas break and return to a classroom without a teacher. Mid-year cuts are catastrophic to students' learning, the environment of the entire school, and we have to prevent that from happening. I'm familiar with tight budgets. I'm sure all of us are going to be turning our heads to look at city council in the next coming months. But our budget process is weeks long, and we grapple with different ways to fund projects and different ways to make cuts, just as you're doing today. I'm also very disheartened to see that we're talking about something that is traditionally done every single year. Not only are we talking about something that is traditionally done every single year, I'm also learning that the CPS CFO also stated that you have the opportunity to borrow if there's a true emergency. And I don't know if there's ever a time where we have seen such a truer emergency than the one that we are facing today. This is our opportunity, again, as leaders, as community, as parents, to demand
You have 30 seconds remaining.
You have leadership in our city council who are true partners, and make sure that we get our fair share of our babies and our families. And so I ask you to stand with us as we call on the state to do their fair share at funding our schools. I also ask you that you continue to partner with us so that we can make sure that we are fully funding not just our schools, but the people who take care of our precious possessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. President Hardin, this concludes public participation. We're on page 6.
We are opening up now for discussion.
If any board members have any comments about public participation?
Are there any comments relative to public participation?
Yes,
Yes. Board Member Thornton.
thank you. I would love an update. I think we all would love an update about the process that the district is currently approaching in regards to the just and equitable transfer for SEIU members. And if there is no update today, we would love to know like a timeline of when that would be possible.
I can provide you with a timeline next week. I mean, on Friday, tomorrow.
Member Lopez.
Thank you, President. One of the items is very similar to what was just asked. Thank you, Senator Cervantes, for being here, for saying what we need to do, and I continue urging the district to work with our labor partners to find solutions. There's numbers of people, and I keep thinking about those individuals impacted. There are my parents, very similar to my parents, my cousins, mis tías, mis tíos, my community members. I'm thinking about the 65-year-old Señora Maria who works in Nightingale School in my district, and she got a pink slip, which is difficult for her to find another job. So let's make sure that we're fighting for those workers, and if they get transferred over, that their grandfather in, because they're going to be making the same work, and what they're getting paid. So let's continue keeping that in mind. The other item is I also want to thank the staff, the team members, the teachers, the families this 2 weeks of welcoming back to school. I've had the opportunity to visit numbers of schools, attended LSC meetings, and also hosted mobile hours. So thank you for everyone. Special shout out to the FACE department, to Chief Fanny Diego Alvarez and her team and all the volunteers during the summer bashes. Thank you for that great work. And then the other item I wanted to mention, it was if we can also look into the Acero Santiago situation. I would like to hear an update and do an analysis, whether if it's something that we are physically, because of budget, if we can look into the building. I believe this shows, right, the importance of accountability, especially with our charter partners. Those are our bad actors, how they were not keeping their buildings up to date. And Santiago is not the only example. We have another one also in the southwest side. So let's look to see what are the solutions. Also, I think this will be a great opportunity to partner with the city. If we're able to purchase that building, how can the city or other levels of government step in and help us with that purchase? And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Member Biggs.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone who came and spoke with us today. We heard a lot of truth, and we also heard some misinformation. I think it's really important that we're all clear that this budget does, in fact, take us through the end of the school year and does not necessitate any further cuts. We know just how challenging the cuts that we've had to experience thus far have been, and we're in a position now where this budget ensures that there will be no more cuts throughout the rest of the school year. I wanted to also add just a comment to my colleagues out of concern that so many of us who I've worked alongside in community as a school leader, who I've known as organizers, seem to have forgotten one of the foundational rules of organizing, and that when we're fighting for the world as it should be, there are no permanent allies and no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. We all sought seats on this board because of our interest in ensuring that all of Chicago's children receive a truly excellent education, particularly those who have historically been furthest from opportunity. Many of us have taken hard and costly positions in support of this goal over the preceding decades. Today is an opportunity to come together around principles of justice, in opposition to the interests of those in power today. I plan to stand in that space, and I hope others will join me. As the letter that Member Boyle shared with the board yesterday evening so aptly stated, history will not measure us by whom we please politically, but by whether we safeguarded the promise of public education for the next generation. Let us choose the path of responsibility, of unity, and of our better angels.
Member Smith.
I want to begin by thanking all of the speakers who came today, including Senator Preston, Alderman Vasquez, and even Wanda Hopkins, who promised to throw her rocker at us if we didn't tell the mayor it ain't going on. Today is about what students deserve. Our children deserve our wealth, not our debt. Some of us, including myself, grew up poor, but that doesn't give us the right to make poor decisions. In black communities, we often cite a systematic racist practice called the black tax. What the black tax means is higher prices for services of less quality. That means food, utility, and even education. The loan being proposed is a setup for a city pension payment that is not legally obligatory. That is what I call poverty management. Mayor Harold Washington said, "I cannot watch the city of Chicago be destroyed by petty politics and bad government." Those appointed to power can feel comfortable apologizing for affronts to democracy as we fight a federal government that is an affront to democracy. I make no apologies for speaking up for the 25,920 voters who are responsible for me sitting here today. They want Superintendent King's balanced budget with no loans, no toss and swap schemes. My name is Dr. Che Ronfest Smith, but it's okay to call me the elected member of the 10th District. Thank you.
Member Rio Sierra.
Thank you. And thank you to the alders who came and spoke today, many of which signed a letter promising to surplus TIF and to take on the MBF pension payment. I appreciate that. Their generosity is not unnoted. Before I was appointed, I spent a lot of time as an organizer. We organized a lot around TIF. We were able to secure 100 units of affordable housing with $40 million worth of TIF. It took 10 years to advocate for that project. So knowing that these alders are promising $379 million historic TIF surplus, I understand the sacrifice that is to communities across our district. How many projects of community development, infrastructure are being left on the table? How many years of advocacy are being wasted in order to give us that money, right? I just hope that everyone understands the sacrifice that is being made across the district to give us that money. And I hope that it's true. I hope that they put their money where their mouth is. And when it's time to vote on that city budget that allocates that enormous TIF that is going to save our budget and avoid mid-year cuts, I hope that they vote yes. Because the alders that came today, of those alders, Andre Vasquez, Alderman Villegas, Alder Nicole Lee, Alder Esposito, all voted no. Say it again. All voted no on last year's city budget that was allocating already a historic amount of TIF. So I want to be sure that they showed up here today and they spoke so passionately and so dedicated so much to us today, right now. I hope that they will put their money where their mouth is come November, because if we get stuck holding that bag, I guarantee you that we're going to name every single one of you and we're going to remind you. We're going to remind you of what you promised today. If this is really about our public schools, then make sure that we get that $379 million. Make sure the city takes on that pension payment, because that's what you're promising us. And that's what you're promising all the students across the district, right? We'll remind you. We'll remind you in November.
Member Gutierrez. Hope and responsibility. In a time of uncertainty, Superintendent King's 2026 fiscal budget provides something we desperately need. Hope grounded in responsibility. It reminds us of that fiscal stability and educational excellence are not competing priorities. They are inseparable. By protecting school budgets, avoiding new borrowing, and reducing future deficits, this plan keeps our promise to students today while building a stronger CPS for generations to come. I hope my fellow board members would join me in approving this budget today.
Member Pope.
Good evening. Thank you all for participating in this important process and discussing these crucial issues. I want to raise an issue of concern to me, and that is when I asked several meetings ago about the use of anticipated revenue to balance a budget, I was told that that was not good practice unless there was something very specific, like a very specific bill in the state legislature that was about to be voted on or something like that. However, this budget is balancing itself on $379 million of anticipated money, which goes way beyond what we have received in the past. And as Board Member Rios Sierra just pointed out, some of the people who are making this promise did not vote for that TIF allocation that we got last year. So could you please clarify for me how this is what we consider fiscally responsible? Because I really don't see it that way. I am very concerned that we are going to end up possibly without all of that revenue, and then that we are going to be, if we have no options of taking out a loan, that we are going to be balancing the budget on the backs of the children. I taught in the system for over 20 years, and I taught at under-resourced neighborhood high schools, and I saw the budgets balanced on the backs of my students at Benito Juarez, at Carl Schurz, and at Gage Park High School. And I do not want to see this again. I am very concerned that we are making a mistake in the sense that we are budgeting based on hope rather than budgeting based on reality. Unfortunately, I agree that hope is not a strategy. Hope is what has guided me as a movement activist since I was 13 years old, and I am going to continue to hope. But hope cannot be what we fill our classrooms with, because it just doesn't work that way. Thank you.
Member Blaze.
So, Dr. King, I know today you omitted in your remarks welcoming Dr. Velez. I'm sure it was just an oversight, but I too feel ignored. There were 11 board members that signed a letter after the last ARC review meeting, and we wanted to see the MEABF payment included in the budget, but we never saw that. The budget team, nobody came up with alternatives. Nobody was like, hey, this is a majority of the board members. Maybe we should see what that looks like. Let's present this budget to them. We've got this option. We didn't even get the Appendix A, I think, until just the other day, yesterday. And I think it was just expenses. I don't know that revenue's in there. Again, I've talked about this before just because I've been through the county budget process and the city budget process. This process has to change and improve. And hopefully now that we've, as we're transitioning from an elected or an appointed board to an elected board, we can get there. But there's so many things that we need to work on. Particularly the $2.4 billion that we borrow every year. There's hysterics about a $200 million loan, and nobody is crying in the streets about the $2.4 billion that we pay interest on every single year. Nobody's discussed, we don't have a plan. The county was in arrears in that way too, and they came up with a strategic plan, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking politics and we're talking past each other, and I don't feel like we are working together. Just the little elected cheap shot that just happened there, I don't know what we're doing. We're all volunteers. We all are missing our family and friends to be a part of this. We can at least be respectful to each other, and we can, if some folks, if a majority of the people say, like, let's try this, we could have just tried it. You could have showed us what it looked like. And I just don't feel supported from the administration here. So I want to honor I think we should honor our obligations and be a good partner to the city. I think we should pay our fair share. I think we should protect our workers, the security dudes in here, all the folks here, everybody a bunch of people in this room need to make sure that the MEABF is not funded at 20%. And I was willing to pay into that, and there's literally labor leaders whose members are parts of are in an underfunded annuity fund, and they're fighting against it. You got to know something is going on. You got to know the fix is in. So anyway, I hope that we'll all try better to work together and to listen to each other. And instead of if a majority of people say, like, let's try this, instead of positioning yourself to get out of it or to convince folks to behave a certain way, instead of doing that, we actually say, hey, let's see what budget A looks like, budget B looks like, budget C looks like, and then we can make a more informed decision. Thank you.
Rivas. Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to clear up some misinformation that's been given out this evening, and really appreciate everyone coming together to give us all of this, all of the public comment from families, teachers, our labor partners on this incredibly important vote. And so the first one being the $379 million is not a made-up number. It is the amount that the City of Chicago provided us last year in their TIF. That's actually higher than what was in the approved City of Chicago budget. So thank you to the City of Chicago, who made that last-minute addition to our budget during the summer when we needed to pay out our retro pay to our labor partners. Also, the MEABF payment is already paid. The city is making catch-up payments. They made an additional payment last year based on what they need to do, right? So this mess is not something that was created by this board. People keep saying that. It's also not a mess that's created by our current administration, the current mayor. The City of Chicago took pension holidays on the MEABF for many years, balancing the city's budget by not making those pension obligations. So when state law changed to ensure that we're funding our pensions adequately so that they're there for the future, that's why the pension obligation has ballooned and why the city needs to be making additional payments. So I totally understand that, and it's just not something that we as a board can afford, because we already lose $800 million per year in debt service from the same types of loans from the past that we've done here. $800 million a year could be in our classrooms today, and it's not, because we lose that in debt service per year. $800 million could have been that deficit that we had where we had those painful cuts over this summer. $800 million that could be working for our children. And so I personally don't believe we can add more to our debt service when this board here is probably not going to be the board that has to make painful decisions 2, 3, 4 years from now when we have to pay nearly double that money back. A $200 million loan paying back $400 million. The other thing too is about the loans that we take out on a yearly basis. The number mentioned by Member Blaze of $2.4 billion. I believe we authorized $1.25 billion this last meeting. That's our TANS revenue projections. Basically, we are borrowing money to make payroll because we haven't received our money from the county or other entities that are providing us that money. So it's not that we're borrowing $1 billion that we need to pay back starting tomorrow and not figuring out where we're going to get that money. We are borrowing to be able to make payroll on money that we know we are going to receive from the county. And by the way, the county has not sent out property tax bills. All of us here that are property owners have not received our bills, meaning we haven't paid our property taxes, meaning the Chicago Public Schools has not received 52% of the county-wide or the city-wide taxes, which then means we have not received our money to be able to make payroll, which means we have to take out TANs to be able to make payroll. And so I'm really hopeful that the county could help us out in making sure that we get our money expediently. The last thing that I need to say, because it really it breaks my heart, as someone, I'm a city employee, I'm in the MEABF. My mom was a lunch lady, also in the MEABF. My family friends that have raised me since I was about 10 years old are both retired from the Chicago Public Schools, both in the MEABF. And yesterday at our weekly family dinner, Maggie asked me, I hear I'm not getting my pension check next month. And that is a complete lie. The pension payment is paid. Those pensioners that are getting retirement checks today are still going to get their monthly retirement check. We cannot put fear into our community, we cannot put fear into our community, into our retirees, thinking that they're not going to get their pension check just to be able to make a point here. That's not true. Thank you.
This concludes public participation.
President Harden, I move the board take a 20-minute recess. Is there a second?
I second.
Point of order, can we do that when we have another agenda item up?
Yes, a motion to recess is a privileged motion.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm just grabbing a sheet to record the vote. The motion to recess was moved by Vice President Bautista, is that correct?
That's correct.
Point of order. I'm sorry. What was the response to Member Custer? I thought we were going right into the motion that I made that was passed. Point of privilege.
Yes, in response, the motion to recess is a privileged motion, and so it can take place at this moment.
And who seconded the motion to recess?
I'm a Lozano.
Lozano? Okay, thank you. I'll proceed with a vote. Member Lozano?
Yes.
Member Smith?
No.
Member Lopez? She stepped out. Member Velez?
Yes.
Member Boyle?
No.
Member Wallace?
Aye.
Member Custer?
No.
Member Pope?
Yes.
Member Rosenfeld?
No.
Member Rivas?
No.
Member Rio Sierra?
Aye.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Bannon?
Aye. Excuse me. Aye.
Vice President Bautista?
Yes.
Member Gutierrez?
No.
Member Biggs?
No.
Member Thodakura?
Yes.
Member Blaze?
Yes.
Member Zakor?
Yes.
Member Lopez, there's a motion on the floor to go into a recess for a 20-minute recess.
Thank you. Aye.
12 ayes, 7 nays. This motion is adopted by the board. We will go into a 20-minute recess.
Should we like do little bets? We'll be like, now Manny, we're supposed to be planning an education person outing and you never come, so you have to come.
Oh yeah, I know. I missed the last one. I have to go to the next one. It's Tuesday,
coming
right?
Up. Yeah.
I think I can understand.
Oh, what is the seed, or do we want to try for calling?
I'm gonna see if I can get a snack.
Okay, go get. Yeah, I know. But is she going? She's still going to be here, right? Yeah, yeah. I think. Well, she's right there. We could ask her. I think she. It sounds like she's. Yeah, well, she's going. She's going to be in Denver the rest of next week to see her family before she's going to tell more. I was pretty sure that I had understood correctly that she will be here. She's not going anywhere after that. We'll double check with her. Well, because of the budget is, and then, I mean, the thing is, it's like, we're gonna, I mean, you know, I was sort of glad they did it. I mean, you know, we still gotta do the presentation. Yeah. Like, from now, yeah. For the present, well, I think that anything, the presentation goes to
I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of the whole reason we're here, right? I don't know if they'll do one or not. I don't. It was even unclear to me if it's even legal. It hasn't even come up. But I think you had asked the question about it, and I said you have to go to the board because it's their rules. And so, for background, it's an ISB policy that each school district gets to determine if there are amendments to budgets, things like that. That's supposed to be the next item. And then I think there's another recess after that. Yeah, take yourself out.
Oh, hi.
Sure. Usually, the only times I've
cool. I've
seen
only
an
heard you on the
amendment
radio.
happen during a meeting.
Yeah, we've done the phone call. I've never seen you in person though.
I can write it down as best
I
as
listen to WB
I would.
every single day.
They don't have them. It's not like something they're ready to do yet. What usually happens is whatever they say is, I would like to amend it to make it this.
No,
they don't throw it up there. Yeah, they don't. It kind of happens as is by whoever calls it out. But I've basically transcribed this whole meeting, so I will do my best. Okay.
But I'll still be watching.
If you're gonna head out, I would advise you go now to make sure you catch it, right?
Okay, we'll do. Thank you.
Hey, good. How you doing? Gracias. Well, I remember when it come from me or my side. I know. Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, like,
Stay over here. No, no va a haber presentación. La presentación va a ser al final. I know. Sí, I know. Ajá, eso que tiene que pasar.
Excelente noticia.
Oh, hi, Carlos.
Carlos, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I meant to say Carlos, sorry.
Yeah.
I have so many.
Nice to meet you in person.
Nice
I know,
to
there's
meet you.
21 of us, so.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Got the wrong person. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no
There's
worries.
2 angels now.
There's 2 angels. Good luck with that one,
I
yeah.
was thinking about the new
Yeah.
board member too. So you guys are recessing for 20.
Apparently, yeah.
Will there be a vote right
There should be, yes.
And
Yeah.
then will there be, like, do you think it's going to just be a straight vote, or is there
No, I'm sure that they're planning an amendment, so.
Is that what's happening?
Probably, yeah.
I wouldn't see a problem with it.
Yeah. I'm going to be out of here by 9 p.m. That is, I have a babysitter till 9:30, so.
I can say I'm losing editors. Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the problem. I'm here.
Yeah.
Editors, who are like waiting for me to.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question? Actually, if I'm watching this remotely, would you send me screenshots?
About the amendment? Oh, yeah. I don't know if they'll, typically when that's happened, they don't actually give it to us. They just say it aloud, and so we have to like scramble quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll be
Yeah.
watching.
The only other time an amendment has happened is when we had the Acero vote.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, because the YouTube, you can scroll back.
Right, yeah.
I might just have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna duck out just because I'm losing some editors. I need to like make sure.
For sure, definitely.
Find somebody who can actually.
that's what I saw that.
Ship it. So,
Definitely. Cool.
I might just do that. But it was so nice to meet
Nice to meet you finally.
And I'll be in touch.
Of course, definitely. See ya.
President Harden, we will now proceed with a separate vote as motioned earlier with a separate vote on RS1, resolution adopting the annual school budget for fiscal year 2026. This item does require a vote.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
I'm
second?
sorry, who moved?
Rosenfeld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Now move this matter for discussion. As we go into the discussion, just want to remind board members to again, maintain decorum and respect as we engage in discussion and exercise brevity. Thank you. Member Rosenfeld.
Oh, no.
I recognize Member Rosenfeld.
No, I don't. I'm not.
Member Custer.
I motion to take a roll call.
Second.
I'll proceed with the roll call vote.
Do we get to speak to this motion?
Board President, may I seek a clarification from Board Member Custer for purposes of parliamentary procedure?
Yes, please.
Board Member Custer, are you moving to call for the question?
Yes.
And I'll note just for parliamentary procedure that a motion to call for the question is a 2/3 vote.
Is there discussion on the question?
Call the roll.
Are we allowed to discuss whether or not to move forward with the vote on
Well,
this
first
motion?
we need a second to the motion. Which motion? Okay, Board Member Boyle. And a motion to call for the question is not debatable. So the roll call can proceed.
So I am proceeding with the roll call, MO6. MO6. I'm taking a roll call on MO6, which is to end the debate and call for a roll call. So this vote is for MO6. Member Lozano?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Lopez?
Can you clarify again what it is that we're doing for?
So Board Member Custer put a motion on the floor to end the debate and call for the roll call for the vote on RS1. Yeah, we're voting on that motion to end the debate.
End the debate, it is just to end the debate, and then we go straight into a vote for the item on the floor?
Yes, that's correct.
Correct.
Nay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Member Villas?
Yes.
Member Boyle?
Yes.
Member Wallace?
Abstain.
Member Custer?
Yes.
Member Pope?
Abstain.
Member Rosenfeld?
Yes.
Member Rivas?
Yes.
Member Rio Sierra?
Yes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Bannon?
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Vice President Bautista?
Yes.
Member Gutierrez?
Yes.
Member Biggs?
Yes.
Member Thodakura?
No.
Member Blaze?
No.
Member Zakor?
No.
Member DeBerry?
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
13 ayes, 5 nays, 2 abstentions. This motion fails of adoption because it does not meet the 2/3 threshold.
All right, let's discuss then.
So the floor is still, goes back to the discussion for RS1.
Member Bannon.
I just want to make a statement that this budget is balanced on paper, but it's balanced on a big if, the if of this TIF surplus. I understand a lot of people think it's going to happen, and they might be right, but I think we just don't know for sure. So I just want to call it out there that this vote is just the next phase of this budget process. The next phase is to go to City Hall and lobby for the TIF money, to go to Springfield and lobby for more revenue. And I trust that all the board members are aligned on that. There's been a lot of talk about this is a successful balanced budget, and there's a big question mark at the end of that balance sheet, if you ask me. I respect all the board members' work on all this and the staff's work on all this. I also want to point out that the TIF, the pension payment, has been made before, and it's been made because there was no controversy about it, because CPS was adequately funded. No one was chasing after dollars. We had the federal COVID money coming in, and everyone was fine with making the payment because there were no cuts surrounding it. So this is not about the political football of a pension payment or a bailout. It's about adequately funding CPS, and I think that's what we all need to keep in mind. And I know it's been mentioned before. I just want to say it one more time that this is a fight over revenue for education. We shouldn't be having the scarcity mindset of we have to cut our way to success. We have to cut our way to a balanced budget. We need to grow our revenue, get progressive revenue in Illinois, and we can all be successful. Thank you for your time.
Member DeBerry.
Thank you, Jenny, for trying to get us out of here a little earlier. I appreciate you. But since we're here, I want to say welcome, Dr. Velez. I want to say thank you, everyone who spoke today so passionately about our children. You know, that energy was palpable, and I appreciate it because I love them as much as you do. I'm so grateful to be in this position to think about all the ways in which people are going to be hurt and helped in this budget. And I really appreciate the way the people, especially state legislators, said that we have to go after more from our governor. So please keep that energy up, because I'm going to. Let's get more for our children from the state. Thank you so much.
Member Smith.
Yes, recently 30 aldermen signed a letter for the TIF surplus and against the pension payment. 30 aldermen signed a letter saying that they did not agree with CPS taking a loan. It seems to me that now we only need one more person to support it, and that's easy. All someone has to do, and I believe someone on the board can do it right now, is make a call to City Hall and have the mayor support it. Since the aldermen support it, have the mayor support it. There we go. We don't have to argue about not being able to fund our schools. All we got to do is get some of the people here who know the mayor real well to say, Mayor, support it, or somebody's going to come throw a roller at you.
Member Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. One other clarification that I wanted to make based on my earlier comment. When we talk about a TIF surplus, the key word here being a surplus, meaning these are not dollars that are assigned to specific projects. That surplus money, it happens every single year. It is not; those are not currently dollars assigned to projects in the respective wards or areas where the TIF districts exist. The city has talked long about expiring those TIFs. The history behind it of being, created under Mayor Harold Washington was that we were going to have these districts for 21, 23 years. Let them expire so that we can get those tax dollars back to those respective bodies. So again, our TIF surplus, and I really am appreciative of the TIF projects that we have across our city, especially the ones going to our schools. Those TIF projects are incredibly important to us.
and we're grateful to have those. But that's because every single level of government wants great schools for our city.
Member Roosevelt.
Yes, in all due respect, Board Member Bannon, it does feel like a political football. We've been talking about this loan, and we've been talking about the MEABF payment when we ran for this office. And we won because we said we wouldn't take out the loan, and we wouldn't vote to make that payment. So by and large, it does feel political. Also, to be very clear, we were told by our general counsel and our CFO that if, in fact, later down the road there is an emergency, a real emergency, we can come back, we can vote to borrow money. All we need is a simple majority to do it. So we need to do what's right now for the families of Chicago Public Schools. The CEO that was fired on Christmas Eve, as well as our current CEO, have said the same thing. We cannot take out a loan. We can balance this budget, and we don't need to make that payment. Let's do it, guys.
Member Third-Corps.
Thank you. Here's the reality. There is no budget that we could pass today, that we could possibly pass, that could be considered a win for our kids. And as we face this decision about this year's budget, it's important that we acknowledge the root cause of this crisis and who is responsible. For decades, people who now want to claim that they're experts on fiscal responsibility made decisions that pushed CPS into this mess that we are trying to clean up. For example, Paul Vallis loves to lecture Chicago about fiscal discipline, but let's remember his record. As CEO of CPS in the 1990s, he leaned on devastating financial maneuvers, pension holidays, short-term borrowing, and risky bond deals that looked good on paper, but left the district with bills that we are still paying today. And those choices balanced his budgets at the moment, but they saddled us with long-term debt. And every dollar that we pay toward that debt is a dollar that is stolen from classrooms, staff, and students. And let's not forget Juan Rangel, whose financial mismanagement at UNO ended with federal intervention. People who mismanaged our schools and helped create this financial hole should not be setting the terms of today's decision. Right now, CPS is paying more than $200 million every year just to service crisis borrowing from 2016 to 2018. That is money that should be funding after-school programs, early childhood education, counselors, librarians, special education, and the kinds of opportunities that our students deserve. That amount alone could solve the budget challenge in front of us today. Instead, it's being shoveled into debt payments because of past mismanagement. We should call out hypocrisy, but the real test for every leader and every organization weighing in on this budget is whether they are willing to fight for the revenue it will take to fund our schools. The challenge before us is clear. We need fully funded schools where every child, no matter their zip code, has access to a high-quality public education, where every one of our staff members, from our teachers to our principals to our custodial workers, our bus drivers, make a fair wage, and where our school infrastructure is conducive to high-quality student learning. And that's beyond any budget within our means today. And especially with looming threats, federal threats to education and to the rights of our students and families, getting there requires more than speeches. It requires showing up in Springfield and engaging our lawmakers to do their part. Many of my colleagues have yet to make that trip. That needs to change. And actually, I would love to do a show of hands. Can you please raise your hand if you've made a trip down to Springfield to talk to legislators about revenue for our schools?
Point of
or
order.
At least a Zoom meeting with legislators.
Point of
They
order.
do that too. They do that too.
That's not
With
decorum.
us facing $500 million of deficits for next year, and with us already having made all the operational cuts we can stomach, that is not going to cut it. And if you are not seeing this fiscal cliff that we are approaching, then please identify where in the budget there are $500 million of cuts that you're willing to make next year. Join us down in Springfield as we advocate for more revenue. And I understand this is a volunteer position, but maybe my colleagues could spend half the time they spend talking to the media, talking to legislators, advocating for revenue. Every single group with a position on this budget must bring the same focus and persistence to Springfield as they do to this conversation, because unless we secure revenue, our schools will not be fully funded until 2034. And our kids cannot wait 10 more years. We owe it to Chicago students and teachers to stop repeating the mistakes of the past, to hold those accountable who made them, and to fight together for the future that we all deserve. Thank you.
Member Brown.
Again, I want to just offer an apology to Dr. Velez. I feel very bad about how this meeting opened up. So, brother, I just want to say apologies to you again for the disrespect that you encountered at the beginning of this meeting. I also want to say that, you know, democracy is not about consensus. So, however this vote goes, tomorrow the sun's still shining, the water still flows. If I understand anything correctly, but I want to make it very clear. It was very interesting, some of the people that spoke today, that very courageously take shots at the mayor of this city when they were silent when Rahm Emanuel was gutting our schools. Silent. Not a drop of courage. It's really interesting to see people sit up and talk about the budget, but then when they had the opportunity to fund our schools last year, they voted no. And I think there's an old saying that the great ancestor Ella Baker used to say, who are your people? And what she meant by that is, who sent you to the table? Whose interests are you carrying? So I cannot vote yes on a budget that does not guarantee that we can hire back sisters and brothers that have lost their positions. I cannot vote yes on a budget that assumes a $379 million TIF surplus when City Council has not demonstrated the political will to do it. So if I understand everything correctly, I think that we can be on different sides without taking sophomore shots at each other. I think the work that is going to take, not the rhetoric, but the work that it's going to take to heal a structural deficit that was caused by some of the people that came up here and ran their mouths over the last couple of months. I'll say it publicly. Juan Rangel shouldn't be able to speak in public about public schools. Paul Vallis shouldn't be able to speak in public about public schools. Now, there are people on this board that have more expertise than me in budgets, but I'll stand on this. What Malcolm said many years ago. He said, I'm not a particularly educated man, nor am I an expert in any field, but I'm sincere, and my sincerity is my credential. I am bought by and owned by nobody. And if I understand anything correctly, we're going to have to do work. Work. In Kiswahili, the word is kazi. We're going to have to do work over the next 6 months. And I want to see the people that step up to the plate, because I'm going to be there. I want to see the unions step up to the plate. I want to see the board members step up to the plate and build a statewide coalition to finally make a demand on Springfield that they do right by Chicago's children, by Illinois' children. Thank you very much.
I motion to call the question.
Second.
So the motion on the floor is to call for the question, which would be ending the debate. It requires a 2/3 vote as well. Member Lozano?
No.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Lopez?
Aye.
Member Velez?
No.
Member Boyle?
Yes.
Member Wallace?
Abstain.
Member Custer?
Yes.
Member Pope?
No.
Member Rosenfeld?
Yes.
Member Rivas?
Yes.
Member Rio Sierra?
Aye.
Member Brown?
No.
Member Bannon?
No.
Vice President Bautista?
No.
Member Gutierrez?
Aye.
Member Biggs?
Yes.
Member Thodokura?
No.
Member Blaze?
No.
Member Zakor?
No.
Member DeBerry?
I forgot the question.
The motion on the floor is to end the debate.
Yes.
We have 10 ayes, 9 nays, 1 abstention. This motion fails of adoption.
Member Lozano.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to remind the board that all of us are here as volunteers. Some of us appointed, some of us elected, and some of us were just voters in your elections and supported you. But I believe that our hearts are in the right place and we should respect each other's opinions. And I myself don't feel comfortable with this budget because it's based on assumptions and there's no guarantees. But I know that this board together, we could figure it out. We are all committed to go to Springfield and fight for dollars. And we've heard today testimony by elected officials which proved to me that they are divided from the city. And they're not all on the same page. And this 30 signature letter, I haven't seen it. I got all over to look for it, can't find it. Only there's one that has 26 members on it, but not 30. So I don't know where that number came from. I could be wrong. I could have missed it. But I want everyone to know that probably by September 5th, there's going to be tanks and everything in this city. And we are going to be dependent on the police and whatever else that can come together and the community to go out and protest that they come and separate families. This is going to affect the children of the Chicago public schools because many of our children are mixed status families. They have undocumented parents that have been working hard for decades waiting for immigration reform that never came. And now we have a dictator in the White House, and we need to be straight and understand that the city of Chicago and the Chicago public schools should be fighting together for the children. And that we're not against each other. We're not enemies, we're allies. So I just want to leave you with this. No hay grandes hombres ni mujeres en este mundo. Solamente son grandes retos que la gente común como nosotros tenemos que tomar. There are no great men or women in the world, only great challenges that ordinary people must stand up to defend. And I leave you with that. And that was my brother Rudy Lozano, who has a public school and a library and named after him because he fought for the most marginalized black and brown children, and that's why I'm here today. And that's why I oppose this budget the way it's written, because it's based on assumptions and not facts. And I'm sorry, I know people work very hard on it, and I pray that these things are can come true, and I want to have faith in that. But even Pritzker said, absolutely not, there's no more money coming to us. And the TIF, of course, we had members saying yes, but I know I have talked to different people, and my alderman says, do what you got to do. And that's what I did when I was a single mom, and I was losing my house. I had to refinance to keep a roof over my kid's head, and that means préstamo si lo necesitamos, period.
Member Smith.
I don't have any comments.
Member Zakor.
Yeah, I can't be nearly as eloquent as Emma. But I just want to mention that of all the aldermen who spoke here and the letter as well, none of them actually said, yes, we are going to for sure get you the amount of money, of TIF money that's in the budget. So when people keep saying that this is based on assumptions, even though that eloquent testimony by those aldermen kind of back up that it's an assumption. Because if they were so committed to the amount of money that we need, I think they would be able to specifically say it. I also just want to say in alignment, I guess, with what Alderman Irvin was saying about we are together with the city. We are all, the CPS and the city, we are fighting for the best life possible for all of our children. And while our main responsibility is education, we should just not forget that all the things the city does, the things that MEABF payment would help them to do, include things like providing affordable housing, providing health care, including mental health services, making sure that there are activities for young people and summer jobs. All of those things matter for our young people. I'll just say, as someone who, was in the classroom just a year ago, sometimes those things mattered more than whatever I might be saying in the classroom, because our students' lives were disturbed in so many ways that things that the city was doing was supporting. So I also feel that I am not able to support a budget that does not acknowledge that partnership and that reality that we are all working for the same thing and that is based on assumptions.
Member Gutierrez.
I think, and I truly believe this, we will have a budget conversation in December, in January, in February. Again, just because the world around us is changing and it's going to call us to do that. To reiterate what my board member Rosenfeld said, we have the ability to come back should we face a state of emergency as a district, to borrow and to come up with a plan. This is not a complicated effort. I mean, the memos were sent, everyone's got them. The city is already, when they declare, the reason board members of CORE, they can't give us the numbers because they haven't declared the TIF yet. They haven't declared it yet. But when they do, that's when that's how the budget is assumed and made. Thank you.
Are there any more comments from the board? There being none,
I'll proceed with the roll call vote on RS1. Member Lozano.
Could you please tell me what that is?
You're voting now on the RS1, the resolution adopting the annual school budget for fiscal year 2026.
No.
Member Smith.
Yes.
Member Lopez.
Yes.
Member Velez.
No.
Member Boyle.
Yes.
Member Wallace.
Aye.
Member Custer.
Aye.
Member Pope.
Abstain.
Member Rosenfeld.
Yes.
Member Rivas.
Yes.
Member Rio Sierra.
Nay.
Member Brown.
No.
Member Bannon.
Yes.
Vice President Bautista.
No.
Member Gutierrez.
Yes.
Member Biggs.
Yes.
Member Thodakura.
Yes.
Member Blaze.
No.
Member Zakor.
No.
Member DeBerry.
Aye.
Twelve ayes, 7 nays, 1 abstention. This matter is adopted by the board.
We'll now move into a short resource. Board Member Ford, do you have motion MO1?
I move that the board take a 30-minute recess.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'll proceed with a roll call. Member Lozano.
Yes.
Member Smith.
Aye.
Member Lopez.
Aye.
Member Velez.
Yes.
Member Boyle.